Mr. Transformers 96 here with another collection update. So yes, I haven't done a collection update in quite a while. I think back in November was the last one, I think. But yeah, so a lot of stuff has changed in this collection. I've moved stuff around. Obviously, I've received new things. And yeah, so the collection's always updating, changing, and evolving. And wanted to give you my newest look at it. So let's get started. So let's start off with the smaller, regular Hasbro Mattel-styled figures, and as you can see, it's obviously done within my closet. If you've never seen my collection before, this was a closet. I removed the doors, added all the shelves, and made it like a little kind of display cove, essentially. So let's get started. At the very top, it is Transformers. And yeah, left side Autobots, right side Decepticons. I built a little stadium-styled shelving for them as well so that you can really see them because the shelf is kind of high up. Basically, my eyes come to about where the shelf starts, maybe a little bit higher than that. So the shelf's a little high, so the stadium-styled, I was going to say seating, stadium-styled display, you can definitely see them all. Then we have my Marvel comic display, mainly Hasbro. I think it's actually all Hasbro. Maybe there's like a couple Toy Biz things in here, but it's mainly Hasbro modern Marvel Legends figures with a couple Marvel Universe figures in the front and a couple Marvel Selects in the back. Yeah, really do enjoy this display just because it's such a variety of stuff and it's just so much. It's cool looking in my opinion. We go below that and we have. Now this shelf actually has changed quite a bit since the last time I did an update because this used to be half Marvel movies and half DC, and it's turned to just Marvel movies just because they've been pumping out a lot more Marvel movie figures. Marvel Legends is just making a lot more in general, and therefore I just needed more space for them. But here on this side we have my MCU heroes, looking quite cool. And then it transitions into MCU Villains, all Marvel Legends still. Really nice MCU villain collection. Like they've done a decent amount of the figures, which is nice. And then we cap it off with some random ones. We got the Mezco Hulkbuster in the back, some 3 3/4 inch figures, and some Diamond Selects on the side. And then we move it down, and we have my Star Wars collection. Have a couple different Jabba the Hutt displays there. Have the Black Series, Bounty Hunters in the back, big Bounty Hunter fan. Some 3 3/4 inch figures from the Clone Wars. And then I've compressed my DC collection to this little sliver here of my DC movie figures, essentially. I've sold a couple DC figures, and there was just a couple that I couldn't fit into the collection anymore, so I've just kind of put it into storage for the time being. But for the most part, that's my DC collection at the moment. I do have some Hot Toys and stuff, but as far as the regular figures go, that's kind of it at the moment. And then below that, I actually have a bit of a Transformers collection. I'm getting really excited to build the Studio Series Devastator, so I've got a display all set up for him with all my Constructicons so far, with the Devastator I have. I even have an extra limb of scrap metal and Rampage in the back there, ready to build the new one as soon as those figures are released. Alright, so just to show you some of the stuff around that display, we have Galactus and Sentinel at the bottom, a couple 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures on the wall. Got my Play Arts Man of Steel figures, a couple Movie Master Transformers, and some in-package Marvel figures, mainly Marvel Legends, with that Sinister 6-pack up top though. Come over to this window, and we have a selection of DC busts. Green Lantern, basically, or just Lantern in general. Got a window, and under that window, don't think I've showed this before, here we go. We've got some Disney, just a small little Disney collection of mine. I'm a big Disney fan, and got some mainly Pixar with a bit of Ralph Breaks the Internet, which kind of encompasses the entire Disney animated selection. But yeah, just have some of those there. And then I did just pick up a couple of these new like little shelves. I was just able to find these new little stands essentially, and I've got my Call Obsidian Iron Studios statue on top. Let me adjust the lighting. And then on the bottom I've got Hela. I just have her like sitting on the floor right now, but I'm actually going to build or put in like a little shelf that's just going to sit on the bottom section, so she'll be actually on a shelf eventually. Alright, moving right around to some of the more higher end scale figures and just some of the Detolf cabinet collection pieces as well. So we move from over here, which is that collection. We've got some costume cards up there. And then here is my collection on the wall. I do have quite a few figures that I've hung up. Looking very cool. There's really high ceilings in this room, which is nice. It's so high, I have stuff to do that entire top section, that top row, but I can't find a ladder, or I don't own a ladder that's tall enough to get up there. Alright, and then we have on the top of this Detolf cabinet my Transformers collection. Some more lighting. These are some leader class figures as well as some third party. The two in the back being Blackout and Bone Crusher are third party figures, and then the two leader class from Hasbro is Starscream and Brawl, and then we have the Movie Master, Masterpiece Barricade. And then we come down. I've actually made a separate collection video specifically talking about my Funko products, so I do showcase all of these in that video. We've got It Funko, Stranger Things Funko, Star Wars Funko, and my drone collection, 3 3/4 inch drone collection from Iron Man 2. Actually, I have a banner over there that I haven't hung up yet that's just on the side, which is actually, I've got this big banner from Infinity War, and I was able to get the Endgame banner to go with it. My fiance actually works at a pop culture kind of store, and they have these displays, and she was able to get me the Infinity War and Endgame one, so I do plan to hang that up. I'm very excited about that. Then we come over here to my fairy tale, well, it's actually just my J. Sky Campbell collection statues. Just this. There we go. So this is definitely new. I was actually displaying the ones that I had on top of a Detolf cabinet. However, I did get Tinkerbell kind of unexpectedly. I was able to get it for a good deal, so I did buy that one. I have Mary Jane on the way, which I'm very excited about. I didn't expect to get that one. And then I have Alice on pre-order, really hoping that they will show some more of these at Comic-Con this year. Just because so far that's it for the line, so really hoping that they do extend it by coming out with some more of the figures, or some more of the statues. And then underneath we have some Hot Toys. There's my Star Wars collection of Hot Toys, really just The Force Awakens actually, with one Rogue One figure. Really, I'm really happy with that setup. I think that my setup for Star Wars has been like this for a long time, and it's probably going to stay that way for quite a bit, just because I don't have any more I don't have any Star Wars figures on pre-order. Like, it's been a long time since I've actually received a Star Wars figure, so I think that my collection's kind of just going to stay like that for the time being. But underneath that we have the Dark Knight collection, which I've now extended to 2 spots, or to 2 shelves in the collection. Sorry, I had some lights on the floor that I knew I wanted to turn on for this collection. So yeah, so the reason that I extended it, because I actually had all of this on one shelf, and it looked great. I was very happy with my Dark Knight collection. But the reason I extended it is because I did just make a couple Dark Knight Hot Toys purchases, which for the movie that came out like 12 years ago, I'm actually quite surprised about that I was able to buy some more. But I did actually finally purchase the Hot Toys Blake and Gordon figure with the bat signal. So I've got 2 figures plus the bat signal coming, as well as I did pre-order the Hot Toys Two-Face, the new version, which is going to be the exclusive for Comic-Con, I believe. I did just pre-order that, so I do have quite a bit of new Hot Toys from the Dark Knight coming in, which kind of made me extend my display. What I did have on the middle shelf before was the DCEU, basically, so I kind of split that up, so I will be showing where all that is. But for now, I've got 2 sets for the Dark Knight, and it will be much more extended as soon as those items start coming in. Next up, we have a set of Detolf cabinets. At the top there, we have kind of Tony Stark's workshop. We've got Tony Stark, some of his workshop items, along with the Mark 43 and Bruce Banner. Going down, we have a couple of spots with Pops, which, again, if you want a more extensive look at those, check out the Pop collection video, as well as the 3A Starscream, the Hot Toys Arkham figures, which did used to be on that shelf with the Dark Knight, or before the Dark Knight took it over, with Batman and Joker. Then we have some miscellaneous Marvel ones. kind of some 1/6 scale figures as well as the Reveltech figures that really, like, I don't have a good spot to put any of that stuff, so they're just kind of in there as a Marvel shelf on its own, mainly X-Men with a hint of Spider-Man basically. And then on the right we have my custom Transformers figures. All of those were custom painted, and some of them were physically like edited from me, so very proud of those and definitely wanted to display them. Then I've got my Pixar short collection, which is in that Funko video as well, and then we have some Transformers Masterpiece figures from G1 style Transformers. Next up, we have another one of my large cabinets where I have the Hulk and the Hulkbuster Hot Toys figure posed. I did actually, yeah, I think this is my first time showing that Hulkbuster figure on YouTube, but I did pick that one up. I'm very happy about that. It was kind of a last-minute decision, to be honest. I got it for a little below retail, which I was hoping for, and it's such a massive piece that it's very impressive. The lights on it are super cool, too. And then I do have that banner that I discussed and the Avengers Age of Ultron poster. Then we come down to my MCU Hero collection. Have the villains in a separate spot, which I'll show you. But at the top there we have the Trinity, both original and modern, essentially. So I've got Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man from their well, the Captain America and Iron Man are from their first Avenger look, and then Thor is from the year after with his Thor the Dark World. And then we have the set of 3 on the right there, which are all from Infinity War. So I do have kind of from where they started to where they ended up, their most classic costumes, which I'd kind of consider to their most edgy, newer costumes. So really happy with those 2 Trinities. The only thing that would screw it up for me is that I do want to get the new Thor. I am hoping that the one from Endgame, I'm hoping that they end up doing that. And I do plan to get the new Captain America, so I might start to build another Trinity, not sure. Then we've got the second display, which is all of the secondary Avengers, or like the kind of new Avengers. They're not the classic ones. Well, I take that back because I've got Hawkeye and Black Widow there. But here's just my other Marvel heroes, essentially. So it's a pretty packed shelf. You've got Guardians mixed in with the heroes. I didn't originally want to do that. However, after seeing Infinity War and Endgame, I'm okay mixing those 2 together just because I've seen them mixed together in the films as well, so that works. Below that, we have my Iron Legion collection with the Star Boost armor, Igor, Heartbreaker, Gamma, Silver Centurion, Bones, and Shotgun. All of those armors. That hasn't changed in forever. I'm a big fan of that just collection itself. I think it just looks really cool. It's just neat to have kind of like an armory of Iron Man armors. Alright, next up we have another set of Detolf cabinets. At the top, this display hasn't changed in a while just because I think it's kind of perfect. It's exactly how I want it, but give you an actual close-up look. As you can see, it's my first order collection, Black Series wise. We've got some officers with the Death Troopers and TIE Fighter pilots. You've got all of the troopers in the back, along with Snoke's throne and a whole sequence from The Last Jedi, my favorite sequence from The Last Jedi, with Rey and Kylo fighting the Praetorian Guards. And then on the side you have some lighter troopers with Director Krennic and all of the light, bright ones. It's a really nice display. The TIE Fighter is just such a big centerpiece, and then you've got a cool kind of movie scene in the middle, which I think is posed really nice. I'm really happy with the pose, and I like the dark troopers on one side, the light troopers on the other. It's really tied in nicely in my opinion, so I'm a fan of it. Then we go down, we have some 1/6 scale Star Wars figures, some Sideshow, some Hot Toys, the Grievous with the battle droids, and then the Darth Vader and Boba Fett, which are Hot Toys, and then Bosk and IG-88, which are Sideshow. And then down here we have the DC figures. Some of these were, the Suicide Squad ones were on that shelf that the Dark Knight has now taken over, but we have Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and Joker with, I was actually able to get one of at least the backdrops in that display, which I think looks really nice, and then my Man of Steel ones. And then I've got my 2 shrines, Shrine for Harley Quinn, Shrine for Captain Phasma. Those are 2 characters that I'm a fan of, that I'll just kind of buy a lot of the merchandise for, and therefore I've kind of accumulated quite the collection of both of those characters. And then at the bottom we have my Arkham collection, just kind of random Arkham. I didn't like separate them based on game, they're kind of all in there together, and I'm actually very happy with that. That's another piece of the collection though that hasn't changed since I moved in here actually, I think. Then we have the Infinity Gauntlet just on the right, on the left. Not ideal where I want to put it, but it's somewhere to at least have it in the collection room without it being anywhere that it really doesn't fit, so at least it's somewhere. And then on the other side of this cabinet is another one of those new table pieces that I just got with Jack Sparrow on it. This one, in my opinion, is perfect. Like, it's exactly what I'm hoping for, or exactly what I wanted these tables for, because Jack Sparrow is a figure that I really enjoy, but he doesn't go with anything else in my collection. It's literally just him. Also, he's more of a display piece. He's not just a single figure that's just standing there. He actually comes with a massive base, and he's a bit of a display, almost statuesque like. So therefore, he's perfect for that, because that type of table is just for one item, and he's the perfect item because he's got nothing else to go with. Also, the table has like some wood on it, which I think really kind of fits the Pirates of the Caribbean theme, so I think it looks really cool. And then at the bottom, I just have a Tesseract, just to put it somewhere. I'll move that eventually. But yeah, I really do like the new location for Jack Sparrow. Alright, and the final display cabinet of this collection, we've got Pacific Rim at the top, my two Sideshow statues, as well as all of the NECA figures. And then we come down to my last actual cabinet as far as the contents within. We have my MCU Villains. So I was, I think that I've done this after I did my my previous collection video, so I think this is the first time you're seeing it. But I decided, I really enjoy Marvel villains. I enjoy villains in general, but Marvel villains I really enjoy. And I had enough of them where I thought, could I actually fill an entire cabinet with Marvel villains? And I could, and I did. So that's what I did here. And as you can see, the top row, I've got the Jatari with Thanos, Loki, and Hela. What I'd consider kind of the classic villains. I guess Hela is a little, I don't know if I consider her classic, but as far as her proportions, she fits well in the middle. So have kind of the classic and kind of the more cosmic villains up top. Then we get down to the middle tier. This is more of the human villains, basically. I've got, with the exception of like Caecilius, but my two in the back are a little bit of the oddballs, because one's Caecilius, who technically is made by a third-party company, and not Hot Toys. Hot Toys never made him. And then Electro, which is obviously from the Amazing Spider-Man series, not quite MCU. But then we have my two Red Skulls, Winter Soldier, Whiplash, and the Mandarin. And then at the very bottom, we have my ones that are too tall, essentially, to fit anywhere else, with the exception of the smaller Whiplash and the Mark I Ultron. Just the Mark I Ultron looks good with the regular Ultron. But we have Ironmonger, the two versions of Ultron, the Iron Whiplash, and then Thanos, the most recent one in my collection, from Infinity War. I do have him on a base, which originally came with that Hulk figure, and then I have all of, like, they've done a lot of, like, severed soldier villains from MCU, so I've just kind of thrown all of the severed villains on that thing just to kind of get them displayed somewhere, but it's like a mountain of the soldiers, basically, so I kind of thought that was fun. But yeah, really do like this display. I am very excited to get Killmonger in here. He's been on pre-order for quite a long time, so I am excited to finally put him into the collection. And then I am very much hoping that we'll get a Mysterio figure that I can add to this eventually, and it would be great if they released that Vulture on pre-order too. So hopefully this collection will expand a little bit. Alright, so there's another collection video. I really enjoyed showing you guys my collection, and I got the Hulkbuster lights on for the ending here. But yeah, so overall my collection has kind of grown. Well, of course it's grown, but I've redesigned where I've put some stuff. I've started putting a few things on the floor, which is a little odd for me. I usually don't do that, but I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable doing that, at least if it's done tastefully. So I do have quite the look going on. Give you a big handheld view of the whole room, though, just so you can really see it. Because in my collection videos, I always worry that you guys don't get a good idea of where everything is, like, compared to each other. You obviously get to see all the stuff, but I don't know how well you're seeing it compared to everything else. Let's give you one last little walkthrough here. And this is all with my regular lighting in the room. The rest of the video I've had a lamp in here just to focus light on specific areas that I was showing. But yeah, really love my collection. I do. And I am very glad to be able to share it with you guys. So yeah, let's get you dizzy a second here. Oof. A lot of stuff to look at, that's for sure. But it's all good stuff to look at, let me tell you. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of my collection. Thanks again for watching with me. I'll of course continue to do updates as I update the collection itself, as well as add to it because it is always being added to. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and thanks so much for watching, guys.